What kind of book are you writing? Is it a memoir, an autobiography, a self-help book, a novel, a business book, a poetry book? What kind of book are you writing right now? We're going to help you figure it out and create the best path for the most successful book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and every Friday I go live with Joanie Lindenmeyer, one of our superstar authors and the author of the best-selling Nun Better, an amazing love story. It's our mission to share with you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote an amazing book. So welcome, Joanie.
Hi there, Elizabeth. Happy day to you. I love
Yes,
our topic.
it was your idea and it's brilliant. So, we are going to share with all of you aspiring writers out there how to distinguish the type of book that you're writing and how to proceed to reach your audience and have the most powerful, positive influence possible. So, as you know, Joanie is the best-selling author of None Better, an Amazing Love Story, which is her memoir. It's her life story. So, Joanie, can you talk about what it was like to compile your life story in a book?
Yes. Um, Here we go. Here we go. Book and flags. It was a
Yes.
big part of figuring out and determining how I wanted to share the real me. And whatever book you're writing, whether that's a documentary or poetry, I just recommend to everybody, you got to be you. You got to use your own voice. You need to just let yourself come out in that book. And I don't mean come, you don't have to be LGBTQ to come out, but you
Uh-huh.
just need to come out as yourself. And
Hmm.
so in writing this book here, None Better, I just let my heart explode and I just used my voice in zillions of stories because my great coach here, Elizabeth Atkins, she kept telling me, just keep writing, just keep writing. I thought I was in that movie with Dory, just keep swimming, just keep
Hmm.
swimming. But
Hmm.
no, it was Elizabeth that just said, just keep writing. And I think that's one of the big tips. Just keep writing, believe in yourself, know that you have a voice to share. And in a memoir, you're telling your story. And
Hmm.
that's what I'm really good at. I'm not
Hmm.
a documentary person. I'm not a poetry person. I just tell my life story.
Hmm. I love it, and you rocked it. Your personality sparkles in every scene. It's very high energy and joyous, just as you are, even though it deals with some very grim topics. So, what's the difference between a memoir and an autobiography? They are both someone's life story, and a memoir is different in that it select certain themes from your life that you choose to dwell upon and explore. If someone put their whole life story and every detail, it's the autobiography. An
So, so,
autobiography
so,
is
so,
just,
question for you. Is your mother's book a memoir or an autobiography, or can it be both?
well, the title is memoir. So
Right.
she really focused on themes of her life, which were overcoming abuse, racism, church scandal, having an interracial family. Um, those are themes. So it's more of a memoir because she didn't
Okay.
include every little thing about her life you know so yeah, a memoir you can think of as more focused, and that's a great question, Joni, because my memoir, God's Answer is No: Lessons from a Spiritual Life,
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're so sweet. KNOW. I focused on themes of spirituality, self-identity, race, um, body image, and things that I personally grappled with. And so you create this trajectory where you start off one way with these issues and go through the trajectory of your life and come to a healing place, hopefully, which I did. And it's with those specific themes. Maya Angelou wrote, I think, eight memoirs because each one can pick up different themes of your life. And so
Oh,
yeah, it's really fascinating. So understanding the difference is really important. And I highly recommend before you embark on your writing journey that you understand all of these and do a little research and read books in these genres so that You have a clear understanding of what the audience is looking for. It's very important to know what people like and what they don't like. And you can get a better understanding of that when you read reviews on memoirs or autobiographies or whatever you're writing on Amazon and other places where book reviews are written. And goodreads.com is another place. See what people like and don't like. But when you say memoir, people are going to expect a certain tone, style, like Joanie said at the beginning, just letting loose with your personality, which is it's your book, it's your story, and you're free to do that.
I love how you just said that by reading reviews and seeing what people have said. We're in the Easter season, and that just reminded me of when little holy stuff here. But after Jesus rose, was my belief. After Jesus rose, he was on the road to Emmaus, and one of the questions he asked these two people that he met, his companions on this journey, is, "What sort of things are going on? What sort of things are you talking about? What sort of things are happening?" And I guess that's what happens when you read a book and a review is written. What sort of things hit you from that book? What sort of things challenged you? What sort of things encouraged you? What
Mhm,
sort of things really happened when you wrote that book? And I think
mhm,
those are really, really, really good things. So
mhm.
a question related to all that, Elizabeth. If a person is dead, do they write a memoir or an autobiography?
No, a memoir or an autobiography is written by the person. That's an excellent question. A biography is a
Oh,
book written
biography.
about someone, whether they're living or dead.
Ah,
So someone can write a biography about you or a former president or somebody who lived in 1735. And that is
yeah,
a biography, but they tr have to do a tremendous amount of research to compile all the information. That's why a lot of historical biographies are like this
yeah,
thick,
yeah.
especially when they're about an accomplished person like a former president or some leader from around the world. And so that's a huge amount of work, often takes years and years. That's a great, great question. Your question or your statement before that, Joni, is also a brilliant segue into writing a self-help book. A self-help book is vastly different than a memoir or an autobiography. A self-help book is for a broader audience, and it needs to provide solid guidance that helps people. And it has to
So
also,
my favorite. Are you ready for my next prop?
yes. Oh, yes,
This book
Joni.
on the table in Carol's convent room. Oh boy, here comes emotions. When I
What?
first was invited into her bedroom, this was on her table. This is her exact book from
Oh,
Louise Hay. And I love the rainbows. I love the heart. Oh boy, you got me choked up with this one. I think this is one of the best self-help books out there, Elizabeth. Oh my
yes,
God. Oh,
yes,
choked up.
yes.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I have chills.
Oh, and
So,
I have to tell you, I was talking to my sister Gail about this. Gail has been to Louise's house.
what?
Down in Southern California. Gail, I know that you're listening, but you know what? This was so cool when Gail was talking about meeting Louise and going to her house and
Oh
just
my
hanging out with
gosh.
her. It was unbelievable. My golly, see all the
Oh my
emotion.
gosh. What year was that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. Oh
okay.
man, that hit
Well,
me.
wow, Gail, that's amazing. I know you're watching. So, Gail is Joni's amazing sister in Southern California.
Uh-huh.
So, let's provide some context for anybody who's watching and doesn't know your story yet, Joni. Uh,
Okay.
the Carol was her life partner for 40 years. They were both former
Yes.
Catholic nuns and they met in the
Yes.
convent in Washington State. And so, going into her convent room the first time would have been 1982.
Yes. That was in Lewiston, Idaho. Yes.
Okay. Oh, Idaho. I'm sorry. In Lewiston, Idaho. So 1982 was a very long time ago in terms of LGBTQ plus freedoms, which didn't really
Yes.
exist at the time. It was a very difficult, dangerous time because it was a AIDS epidemic, which was just very scary and violent sadly, for many people. So the book
Yeah.
Joanie,
Yeah.
that's powerful. So Louise Hay went on to create Hay House Publishing, which is a powerhouse of publishing spiritual books. And this book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, who is in heaven now. It is all about identifying specific ailments and what the spiritual root cause could be and how to heal it. So when
Yeah.
she wrote that book, she was completely authentic because she's a spiritual healer and believer. And she knew who the audience is. The audience is people who are going to grasp the spiritual components of her writing, first of all. And secondly, be open to the idea that our wounds, our ailments, diseases, conditions are all rooted in some kind of trauma that can be healed through affirmation and self-love and spiritual depth.
Yes.
Joanie?
Well said. Whoa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Was
she wrote,
beautiful.
thank you. I love that book. I've had it since a long, long time ago, maybe the 80s as well.
Uh-huh.
No, it was the 90s. Yeah, but still life-changing content. So
Yes.
please, everybody, Louise Hay, you can change your life. But interestingly, in the book that Joni and I are doing together, Joyously Free, I recommend that people read. Yes, there's our beautiful
Yes, yes,
cover.
yes. And this is our self-help book in one sense. Huh.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And
Please
I
talk
rec
about that.
okay, Joni, I recommended that people read You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And of course, Joni, as soon as she read that, she just texted me or called or something. And, oh my gosh, I can't believe it because it's the perfect thing. But let's talk about a self-help book. So beautifully, self-help books are very important in conveying who we are and what makes us credible as teachers, leaders, guides. Um,
Yeah.
to share
Yeah.
this information. We're not just stumbling upon a topic and saying, let's write about this. No, we both live it, speak it, feel it, experience it, watch it. And so we are credible. But to convey that to the reader, to build our credibility as the authors, we have to tell them who we are and how we live and think. And so that involves sharing stories about yourself, which Joni does and I do as well. And then we also have our contributors who share their stories throughout the book. So, so it's not a memoir, but we do get to share our stories. And so we also want to appeal to a very broad audience that is much broader. Like this book, it has the word God in the title. That's not going to appeal to everyone. In fact, it's a turnoff to some people, even though it's spiritual and all about healing people. But I knew that that word would only appeal to certain people because of the various unfortunate stigmas or um, hurts that people have around God and religion. So I understand that this has a limited market because it doesn't appeal to everybody. However, we want Joyously Free to appeal to all people who are LGBTQ plus people themselves, parents of, or allies. Yes, that's why it's in the title. And so we want the book to be written in a certain manner that appeals to everybody and that at the same time expresses our personalities and our unique experiences. So Joni and I
Yes.
are in the process of all that right now, and um, the book is going to save lives, touch lives, inspire people, and just be a powerhouse source of guidance for people to find hope where there's despair, find love where there's mm, conflict, and it's just going to be
Mhm.
beautiful. And
Mhm.
it's a
Mhm.
collaboration. So similarly, we're doing Healing Religious Hurts, another book, which of course Joni has the cover. Thank you.
Of course,
Um,
of course.
it's also a self-help book. That means you can pick up the book and help yourself on the journey through the written word that we share and that our contributors share. And of course, we're sharing our own stories and our tips that can help people. So, a
Yes.
self-help book is all about reaching the widest audience that's interested in that topic. One of my favorite self-help books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Do you have
I've
this one?
read that.
You
I've
did?
read that several
Yeah.
times. I love that book.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this was written in the 20s, and this is an updated version that's more inclusive, fortunately. But he goes supernatural on us too. There's a chapter in here where he said he had a nightly meeting with his council of dead leaders, pretty much, that included Abraham Lincoln. And that was bold. That was way back before anybody talked about this kind of stuff. So in a self-help book, there's space to go very, very far outside the box of how
Mm,
people think and share how you can lead them into this way of thinking and living that is magical.
yeah.
So, any more
You
any
know,
more
and
questions?
maybe as we're talking, the listeners right now are thinking of a self-help book that has helped, guided, encouraged them to move on and to be able to share that, text us, let us know what you're reading, because that's back to, what is it saying? What sort of things are you talking about? But I think one of the key points you keep mentioning, Elizabeth, it's a guide, it's a tip, it's a book that literally will help you, and it's something you can reread it, so you spend your 20, 25, 30, $35 for this book. It's almost like it's better than, I don't want to say better, but like therapy or counseling or treatment. You can go back and reread that chapter, reread that paragraph, or maybe they even have some lines in there where you actually can do a little of your own thinking and thought process and write your own feelings as you are reading this, which will help you to become the better you.
Hmm.
So, true, true.
Yes, that perfectly said. Absolutely. And you do it in the privacy of your home. You're reading the book, you're absorbing and analyzing, processing the words, and it at your own pace. Um, and so, beautiful point. Anything else
So
about,
what's the difference between nonfiction and self-help?
well, self-help is nonfiction because it's the truth.
Okay,
Fiction is stuff you make up. Fiction is
okay,
a novel. Fiction is a short story or novella. It's a fictional story that you just make up in your imagination.
huh?
Oftentimes, fiction is inspired by real life, but embellished. And so, fiction is fun. It's really fun to sit down and just make stuff up. Um, let's see. What
So
do you
can I
have?
show you a book?
Of course.
Okay. I love our little local community library. Lori at our local library runs a beautiful LGBTQ youth book club. This is one of the favorite ones that teenagers like. And it
Oh,
is a comic style book.
oh,
It's a
oh, like a
comic
cart.
style book, and
Uh-huh.
it's imaginary, and yet it has some really, really valid points in it
Uh-huh.
as part of the storyline. So I guess this would be considered fiction. As it says here, it says escape was just the beginning. Queer romance, friendship, and wild mech battles against the patriarchy. I'm not sure what more you need in a book.
That
So
is so
that's
fun.
but that's a fiction book, but it's based upon some themes and topics, but it's in a cartoon way. And what a
Yeah,
great way for young people to read.
I
Any
love
comments
that.
on that kind of thing, Elizabeth?
Um, that can be self-help because it's affirming in that people get to tell their own story through writing in the little dialogue boxes up there, the bubbles, dialogue bubbles in the
Uh-huh.
cartoons.
Uh-huh.
That's very affirming, but it is that is fictional.
Fiction. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, that's exciting. I love it when people just veer off of the traditional genres and create something that's new.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
just to reiterate, novels are made up. They're fictional. They're not true. Like my novel Dark Secret. This is um one of my first novels, best-selling, first published by St. Martin's Press in hardcover and paperback, and I made it up. But it's got a lot of history in it, but I wove my fictional characters around historical facts.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the point here, Joni, is that people need to understand when you're writing a book that there's a certain There's a certain set of standards for each genre and a certain
Mhm.
expectation by readers of what they're used to reading and how they're used to um, digesting, processing the information. So it has to be presented in a way that appeals to the broadest possible audience.
So how does an author know what kind of book they're writing? I mean, does it like mine was pretty simple because it was a memoir, it was a story. But how do other authors know? Like when you wrote your novel, how did you know that that was a different book than God's Answer is No? How did you know? Yeah. Be more.
So God's answer is no is nonfiction. It's my life. It's true.
Hmm.
It's true facts from my
Hmm.
telling my life story. I didn't make anything up.
Hmm.
Dark Secret is fictional. I made it up. It's not true. It's fake.
So how
It's
do you do that in your mind? Does it just sort of roll right out of you as an author?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Because I'm a journalist too. And so when I'm writing nonfiction, I'm being a journalist. Like, for example, in Joyously Free, I find statistics, I find sources, I cite them in the work, in the paragraphs to show this is solid, real information from a credible source. Whereas if
Okay.
it were fiction, I could just make it up. So fiction means imaginary, made
Right.
up. Nonfiction means factual, true, rooted in facts, statistics, news.
Wow, no wonder you're a professional author. It's like in my sports mind, I'm trying to think about this. Wow, you're a professional volleyball player, you're a professional tennis player. It's like totally different, yet it's all the same. And it's like I'm just amazed about how you and other people like your sister, that write incredible things.
Mhm.
And so what is her book?
Well, that's an excellent question, Joni, and topic, because Catherine's books, the Veronica series, there are three of them. They're young adult novels inspired by her true childhood, because a boy actually did say, Catherine, I heard your mom's black on the playground when we were in elementary school. But she made up a story around that sentence to explore a 14-year-old girl named Veronica who's biracial and doesn't understand why the world is so obsessed with the fact that she's mixed race. She just wants to have fun with her friends and like boys and enjoy school. But so Catherine took a serious topic inspired by her own life experience and made it fiction, imaginary. Yeah,
What a
that's
gift.
perfect.
What a
Thank you.
gift. Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh.
Joni. Lots of people do that. They take a real life experience. Like when you see a movie and it says based on a true life story. Yeah.
Mhm.
But you also brilliantly drew an excellent example in sports. When people play football, it's down and dirty. People tackle. People are in the mud. It might be raining. People get physically just pounded or
Yeah.
underneath a pile of men. I mean, it's a violent sport. And the audience is tends to be loud, proud, drinking beer, cussing, potentially yelling. Okay. The feeling at a football game, a professional game, is raucous. Okay. And
Uh-huh.
now let me just share, comparing this, that's a certain type of book. Let's use this as a metaphor. If you were to go to Wimbledon or the US Open,
Yeah.
okay, the
Yeah.
audience is very different. It's affluent, it's quiet, it's super respectful, it's probably very well dressed. It's probably drinking wine or mixed drinks. I've never been, but I'm just saying it's much more affluent and reserved audience. And the decorum on the tennis court is different. People have their antics when they're playing, yes, but there's a certain decorum that has to be
Hmm.
respected on the tennis court and in the tennis arena or stadium. So do you see tennis?
Yes.
But
Yes.
at football,
Yes.
people are wearing jeans, they're wearing jerseys, their face might be painted different colors for their team. Okay, it's wild and loud. Tennis, very quiet, very reserved. Two different audiences, two different experiences. And so certain books can be compared. Who's my audience? Is it the raucous football audience? Is it the reserved tennis people? Is it everyone? And if so, how can I appeal to both
Yeah.
without alienating anybody? Got that? Does that make sense?
Got it. Oh my gosh. Yes, do I get that? And you put that on my level. I appreciate that.
Well, you brought it up with the team metaphor. That was
Well,
perfect.
in this whole world of books is it's mind blowing to me. It's flabbergasting. And because of it, I know I've sent people to you. I think of Rosie. I think of Diana. I know that Will, 17-year-old Will, who's in our next books coming up as a contributor, will write an incredible novels
Yes.
in his life,
Uh-huh.
and then even at my book events, I have met people, I have met authors. And so a dear friend of mine now, Cynthia, she is in the process of writing another book, but I love this book. And it's a spiritual self, as I know these titles now, it's a self-help book on a spiritual level. And so I can actually
Oh,
tell the difference between what kind of books, whether it's football or tennis.
yes. Yes,
I
Joanie. Now let's think you can apply every sport to that. Like think about hockey games where they literally get into fights.
Yep,
Okay. And it's a
yep.
very loud audience as well. Or
My
think about a
pickleball,
pole. What?
my pickleball.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And
Yeah,
how each is unique and has a very different
yeah.
etiquette and protocols. Yeah. And
And
different.
what a gift that is, as you're listening to this, everybody out there, as you're listening to this, you have that gift within you to write a certain kind of book for a certain people that will just bomb blast and change somebody's life or give them joy or give them peace or whatever. But just by being you and your writing, that will happen. And I guess I'm living proof of that, and I'm still trying to understand how that all happened, and so all I can say is keep reading, keep writing, and hang on to a team. Oh my God. If it weren't for two sisters, I wouldn't be on this podcast. I'd be out pulling weeds. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just
Pulling
so
weeds.
different. And I just encourage people to go for those big things. Why not? Why not? Be author, become a famous one. Maybe you'll have a business bigger than two sisters in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Oh, I
That's
get
awesome. That's awesome. Wow, how exciting.
it
And
is.
if the word genre is confusing to people, think about music. There are so many musical genres that are easy
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
identify. Jazz, rock and roll, R&B, hip hop, classical, salsa. You see?
Yep. Yep.
So you just want to understand who's listening to what and how can you best appeal to them,
Right.
you know?
Right. Oh, this has been excellent today. This
I
has been
know. It was your
glorious
idea.
and having so much fun.
Awesome, awesome. Everybody, we'd love to hear what you're writing. Please drop us a comment, share this with anybody who's writing a book. And also, please check out the many months of Friday Lives that Joanie and I have done here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel, where we teach you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. Joanie, any last words?
Nope. I'm just glad I'm connected with you and Catherine. That's all I have to say.
Oh, you are such an earth angel. We're so grateful, grateful, grateful to know you. And
Thank you.
you're just like a big burst of sunshine at all times. So we're so
Oh,
grateful.
likewise. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, everybody, please visit Joanie on Facebook at Joanie Lindenmeyer. She loves to get comments, questions, anything you might want to ask her as a guide on your journey. She's always eager to assist. You can also reach out to us at twosisterswriting.com and drop us a comment here on the channel. We wish you happy writing. You can also pre-order our two books Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts at twosisterswriting.com. And we hope that you have great success in your book writing journey. So happy writing and happy reading.
Big hugs.